Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Barry Schwartz, and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, January 28th. Lot to discuss. I was on vacation this week, but a lot of news, and maybe I'll get to the vacation part a little bit later if you're interested in some personal stuff. Google has another unconfirmed Google search algorithm update this week. Google's FLoC is a flop. We'll get into that too. Google has a new robots tag for indexing embeddable content, and so much more. So definitely stay tuned. And of course, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Duda. Thank you, Duda. It's the website building platform ranked #1 in Google's recent Core Web Vitals report. It's offering a 15% off their annual pass with a special promo code for you. So definitely take a look at this promo code right over here, scan it with your phone, or go to the link in the description, click on it, and sign up and get 15% off. Thank you so much, Duda, for sponsoring. Deeply appreciate it. All right, let's get into the search news. So first up, like I discussed, there was another Google unconfirmed Google search ranking algorithm, probably around January 22nd. A lot of the tools definitely lit up. There are some rumblings around SEMrush's data being a little bit inaccurate, but I'm told the tools themselves, the aggregate tool, is fine, and it also did match up with other tools. So a lot of the tools were all over the place. A lot of people in the SEO industry were talking about the chatter and the differences around January 22nd. So if you see anything around that, definitely check out your analytics and your various tools to see what happened. January 22nd, there may have been another unconfirmed update. It might all be related to previous unconfirmed updates. It's hard to say without Google actually confirming them. So all those, I don't know, we reported about like 5 or so different unconfirmed updates. It may have been related to the first one and just continued to roll out over the course of a few weeks. Again, we don't know for sure without a Google confirmation. It is what it is. So at least you're not alone. This week, Google has some big news around FLoC, their federated learning of cohorts. It's basically their substitute for cookies and tracking like that. It really got a lot of negative press over the past few years when Google announced it a couple years ago. WordPress, major sites all said, we're not going to support it, we're going to block it. And Google's like, we need an alternative. So they came out this week with something called Topics API. It's basically around their new privacy sandbox proposal, and it's calling it Topic API. This is a new proposal based on community feedback and learning from the FLoC's trial, which they're calling it a trial. This Topics replaces the FLoC proposal completely, and basically how it works is the browser determines a handful of topics like fitness or travel. I think there's about 300 or so different topics. I'm not sure why they call it a handful. Based on past week's browsing history. When the user visits a participating site, the browser shares about 3 topics, one from each of the past 3 weeks, with the site and its advantage partners over partners to serve relevant ads. So again, it's only sharing a few, but it could handle up to about 300 different topics. It goes on, and basically there's a different way of actually tracking people and giving relevant information without tracking people. So we'll see if this one works, but FLoC is dead, which is pretty interesting. In other news, last Friday after I recorded this video, Google introduced a new robots tag called indexifembedded. It basically lets you control indexing with embedded content. It's a new tag, which is basically you added it as a meta tag or an xrobots tag. And it basically lets you control the indexing of embedded pages, not the page that it's embedding on. This was an issue with some providers that want to have their content indexed, so it's another little bit of control that you can actually access there, which is pretty cool. Last night this morning I reported about a bug with Google Search Console where there's a logging bug specifically around image search in the performance report. So if you see a drop in your performance report starting on around January 24th, it's ongoing right now, it hasn't been fixed yet. You may see a drop with your image search performance data in Google Search Console starting January 24th. It's around some type of logging bug. It's not related to a ranking issue. It's just related to some type of reporting issue. This week also Google announced in the Google Ads that they have a bunch of new tools and migration features and other assets that you could use for when smart shopping and local campaigns will be replaced by Performance Max. That's not news before, that's been announced before, but it's coming and you got to be ready for it. It's coming up in the next couple months or so. Both different timelines for each, so definitely take a look at that article. There's a whole timeline on when this is going to actually happen, and there's a one-click migration tool. And supposedly, I don't think it's so bad for PPCers. I think PPCers aren't so upset about this change, so definitely take a look at that. Definitely a lot of just chatter around that in the community. John Mueller said this week that the page experience core web vitals label or icon icon that you would see in the search results, which Google actually tested a couple of years ago, actually a year ago, is probably not going to go live. Google tested it having a label to say, hey, this website that you're seeing in the search results does meet the page experience update factors, and it's good to go. But that label never went live, and it probably won't go live according to John Mueller. John Shihada published some Newzdash data around the deduplication topic that we discussed last week for top stories and web results. So again, just to catch you up, if you have a URL in the top stories, and the top story section is above any of the first URL, and you also have a URL in the web stories, Google might duplicate that. There's a little, that might change and so forth. Anyway, John Shihada basically came out with data saying that 67% of Google searches have duplicate top stories and web result URLs in this Google search results. He also said that about 12% of top stories URLs get duplicated in the web results as well. And he has a whole chart showing all this, so here's that chart. Pretty cool data. Azim actually came out with a poll asking SEOs, what do you think would happen to the Google search results if Google gave 100% transparency about how its ranking algorithm worked? And almost 80% said the search results would actually be worse off because probably SEOs would manipulate it. They would know too much and they would go ahead and take advantage of it. About 20% said the search results would get better. I'm not sure how that would work. I don't know. Interesting poll. This is funny. You've seen this with like the phone books where you say AAA, balloon rental, or whatever it might be. This is the old days. Now is the new days. So now businesses are naming themselves business name or keyword name near me. So Christian Ariola posted on LinkedIn a photo of him basically going into a strip mall where there was a dentist office called Dentist Near Me. Here's that photo. Pretty funny. Not sure if that's a great SEO strategy. John Mueller basically said from Google, I kind of wonder if that works against him because of how easily search engines change near me into just location, making it really hard for people to search for them by name. But we'll see. Anyway, it will be very interesting to see that. Maybe they have a chain of dentists near me. Very interesting to see brand names going after that, although I don't think it's their official name. I think it's just their DBA or something. And then we have a poll asking SEOs about near me types of optimization. And the poll asked, it was by Brody Clark, is optimizing a website for search term variations that include near me a good practice in SEO? And SEOs are split, basically. 20% said yes, 29% said no, 21%, 22% said it depends. And then there's like the rest was like, I want to show me the answers. So interesting to see that from SEOs. John Mueller said there is no specific product image schema or product schema to say, Google, show my products in the search snippets above the snippet. Here's a screenshot of what that snippet might look like. And John Mueller said it's basically fully controlled by Google. It's nothing specifically controlled by schema or structured data or anything like that. So maybe Google will update its documentation to discuss that, maybe not. Google also launched a new search refinement called People Search Next. Google confirmed this is a new search refinement to me, also to search engine land. And Google said that this is not just for near me queries, for any types of queries where Google says, hey, wait, maybe a searcher might find this useful on their next query, on their next search. This is only available in the US English mobile results right now, but who knows if it will expand to others. Google Maps now shows updates from customers. It's not really new. It's been out for a few months at least, but we showed examples of the Googleplex having some weird updates from Google's. Claire went ahead and posted this funny thing about my business profile, the Rusty Brick business profile. Some local SEOs are worried about this being a nightmare for business listings and review management. Of course, you have to worry about that because it's really prominent right in the Google Maps listings, and more of this is showing up now and over. Google said it's deprecating the Google My Business API on April 20th, 2022. It will be replaced by other APIs. There's a whole timeline that I published thanks to Mike Blumenthal, so thank you for posting that. Google is testing search results again without descriptions. This is confirmed by Google. It's basically a test for about a few weeks or so. It should be going away in the next few days. So if you do see search results without descriptions, meta descriptions, and so forth, you are not alone. Google confirmed that they're testing Favicons as the ad URL in the search ads in Google search results. I thought they were emojis first because the Uber Eats example here was a pizza emoji. It wasn't the Uber logo, so interesting that Google's testing that. Keep in mind, emojis are against Google's ads policies. You can't really use emojis in your search ads, although people have snuck them in here and there. Now Google's testing showing favicons there as well, which they did actually in the past, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. In any event, like I said, I was on vacation this week. Google's image search is testing related images designs in the search result. Cameos on Google is going away. It's basically that feature where you can upload videos of yourself answering questions that people might want to be interested in, either on it yourself, on a topic that you're an expert on, or on some whatever. And that's going away soon. So it didn't last too long, a couple of years or so. It officially actually launched back in 2017. They expanded it back in 2019. And then on February 17th, 2022, it will be going away. Again, not sad it's going away. I don't think it was used too much. Google AdSense said it's separating out its YouTube earnings from its other earnings, some AdSense and whatever content earnings you might get, which is kind of bad for smaller publishers because you have to hit that $100 threshold to actually get the payment. So if you have them separated out, YouTube and content, then you have to hit a $100 threshold for each individually, which is interesting. And Google's Assistant, now you no longer have to say, hey, Google first to stop it from actually doing something.
Sorry, I don't
stop.
understand. All
All you need to do is say stop. It actually worked pretty well. Basically, when you're going ahead and on a conference call and you accidentally trigger it, all you have to do is say stop. You don't have to actually say the trigger word, then stop, which is pretty cool. In any event, that pretty much recaps the Search Buzz video recap. Thanks again to Duda for sponsoring. My name again is Barry Schwartz. This is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at SEroundtable.com. Again, I was on vacation this week, so I do have tremendous amount of stuff that I'm backlogged that I will be covering this coming week as well. Hopefully I'll get it all out. In any event, everybody be safe, healthy. Just so you know, if you want to know, I was in Orlando with the family this week. First time we traveled in about 2 years. Actually, our last flight was to Orlando 2 years ago. Went to Epcot, went to SeaWorld, and went to the Kennedy Space Center while we were there. In any event, thank you so much for listening. Hope everybody's being safe and well. And I'll see you guys next week. Again, thank you, Duda, for sponsoring. Definitely deeply appreciate it. Be well. Bye-bye.